Hey everybody, this is Corey at Aquarium Co-op. Today I want to talk about dwarf frogs and some of the pitfalls people have. Usually it's trying to feed them. They're kind of finicky eaters, they're real slow to eat. They can't really compete with fish. Here I've got some Priscilla tetras with these guys and some snails, but what you want to be feeding them usually is something that's going to stay in the water for a while. So like frozen bloodworms, or here I've got live blackworms, and these are actually live worms. You can kind of see them. I'm going to pour them in the water. This is a portion, something like this at your local fish store is probably about $1.50. That's what I sell them for. And what you're going to see is they can live in the gravel for basically forever, and the frogs are just going to eat them. So I'm going to dump some in and show you how this works here. And so there's a bunch of blackworms. You're going to watch them hit the ground there, and they're going to spread out, and you're going to start seeing frogs eat them. You can also do frozen bloodworms as well. I'm just doing these because most people know what frozen bloodworms are, and not a lot of people have seen blackworms, so I figure I can show you frogs and blackworms at the same time. So here we see the first frog's found it. He's going to start chowing down. Let me see if I can kind of zoom in for you here. So yeah, you see him just start grabbing them. That's kind of how frogs eat. They just kind of grab it and try to jerk it into their mouth. So if you've got pellets and stuff like that, it's not really conducive to this, because let's say brine shrimp pellets or something like that at this point would be starting to soften up quite a bit, where these guys will just live in the gravel and keep moving and agitate them and make them want to eat. So yeah, as the frogs find, there's a lot of frogs in here and they just haven't found it yet, but when they do, this is what they do. They just constantly chow down, and yeah, you can see the fish starting to come in, and you know they're going to eat some of these too. The blackworms are nice and healthy, full of protein, keeps your frogs nice and fat. And the important part is on small bowls. Let's say you're keeping these in a small container, which a lot of people do. They just, they get told by their pet store they can be kept in a small container. It's even more important to be feeding live food or frozen food, stuff of high quality, because you don't have a lot of water to spread the waste out over. And so you can see some in the back there. They're just starting to come up and get some worms hiding out in the weeds there. But yeah, the best thing you can do is feed high quality to frogs, even though they're sold at the mall and stuff like that as ecosystems that can live forever and stuff like that. You really want to be feeding them some high quality food. Frozen bloodworms are a great one, live blackworms. There are some pellets, but the pellets, they go soft and they get mushy and they end up in the gravel, so you want to avoid that. If you put them in like a petri dish or something like that and let the frogs eat them out of there, that's a good way. But in all honesty, live blackworms in the gravel is my favorite way to feed African dwarf frogs. So some other things there, you see like that big one right there, that's a female. The big wide ones are females and the skinnier ones are males. And if you ever see them basically hugging each other, they'll hug each other for up to a day and a half or so. That's them breeding, and they like to lay eggs all over moss and stuff, which there's no eggs there, because if there was any, the fish would be eating them. But so if you ever see that behavior, that's just them breeding, so don't freak out, and even though it's been grabbed onto the other one for a day straight, that's normal behavior in the wild. So yeah, dwarf frogs, they make awesome additions. Kids love them. They're great at controlling fry. If you have, guppy babies or something like that in there, these will eat them. If you're worried about too many live bear babies, these will eat them. Just like they're eating these worms, as the worms move, they want to eat them. So they're one of the cooler bottom scavengers, and they're very popular. So if you have any more questions, let's post it in the YouTube comments and I'll try to address them. But otherwise, that's a brief little primer on African dwarf frogs. Just a cool little addition to most tanks. And they're fully aquatic, which a lot of people don't know. They think they might still have to get out of water, but no, they actually will die out of the water. And here's a little frog pile over here that are kind of going crazy. They don't realize that all the worms are just 6 inches away here, So yeah, alright, I'll talk to you guys soon, and have a good day.